And we investigate the dangers of instant noodle soup. Doctors are telling hundreds of kids are being injured by the hot water. You'll see a possible solution that's ahead. My mom just always told me, if there's boiling water,
be careful.
Be careful. And attorneys for a California mom plan to file suit against a maker of instant noodle soup today. Her son was severely burned after the soup spilled in his lap. Burn doctors across the country tell us instant cups of soup can pose a serious hazard to children. Anna Werner reports it may have to do with how the containers are designed.
Letitia Beam's 3-year-old son Jolin might look happy now, but he suffered severe burns below the waist last summer. His mom says after his 16-year-old sister set a cup of hot noodle soup on the dining table.
He climbed into his seat, so I guess my daughter realized he was there, so she went to move the noodles. And as she went to move them, they just toppled over, and it just spilled in his lap completely.
The hot soup caused 2nd and 3rd degree burns to his lap and groin area, requiring multiple skin grafts.
I just couldn't believe it. It was horrible.
Jolin's had 4 operations and will need more.
The average person does not know how bad those noodles can burn a child.
But what happened to Jolin is not a surprise to burn surgeons, like Dr. Tina Palmieri of Shriners Hospital of Northern California.
The instant soups have become a very frequent cause of burn injury for our patients.
And not just at her hospital. CBS News surveyed 15 burn centers across the country. Most don't keep exact statistics, but among them, they estimated they see 600 children with those serious burns each year. One hospital even made this poster to warn parents about the dangers of instant soups. And Dr. Palmieri believes soup manufacturers can do something about it. She says it has to do with the packaging.
What's the problem with the containers that the soup is in, these cups oftentimes?
The reason they call them cup of soups is because they look like a cup, and they taper towards the bottom. And because they taper, they're a little less stable, and so they're easier to knock over.
Her colleague, Dr. David Greenhall, demonstrated what he sees as the problem. Here's how easily a cup of soup can topple over. But Dr. Greenhall says with a flatter container,
so you can see that it takes a lot more to tip it over.
After seeing so many children burned, Dr. Greenhall studied different container shapes and their risk of tipping. Here from his study, you can see just how hard it is to tip over a shorter, wider container and how much easier it can be to tip a taller, flared cup. But Dr. Greenhall believes there's a simple solution. Just turn the cup upside down, like a Yoplait yogurt container.
It seems to me to be very simple design.
We wanted to know what the soup manufacturers have to say. None agreed to an interview. A representative for Maruchan, maker of the top-selling instant lunch cup, told us that it sold more than 500 million last year and had just 4 burn claims, 1 for a child. And Nissen Foods, the maker of cup noodles, the product Letitia Beam says tipped over on her son Jolin, told us in a statement, safe and proper enjoyment of our products is one of our priorities, that the soups are prominently labeled with warnings about handling them with care around children. And they said, our hearts go out to children and families who have suffered burns of any type.
People might say, you know what, accidents happen. Kids get burned by a lot of things. You can't prevent everything. Why is this different?
Because we can do something. And there's some things in life you can't prevent, but others that can possibly be prevented, and I think we should look into preventing those things that we can.
Letitia Beam says that's why she now plans to sue Nissen Foods over her son's injuries.
I'm after to get the cup changed. My kid, I believe, in my opinion, suffered enough for every kid. I don't want to see another kid have to be burned like this.
For CBS This Morning, Anna Werner, Dallas.
So I think this is a real wake-up call for moms because I learned a lot. And apparently doctors say that the sticky noodles, you know, actually cling to the skin, and that's why the burns are more severe, too. It's not just the hot water, it's the noodles, too.
Interesting, and I was surprised how many cases there were of this.